So next we're gonna check out some unexplained discoveries from Canada, a place I've never been to, but definitely wanna go. It's on my list, all right? I got a few places on my list, but y'all know that already. All right, so this video is titled 15 Unsettling Discoveries in Canada No One Can Explain. All right, now I've heard of the one, I think like UFO situation from Canada that is well known about. That's the only thing I think I've ever heard about though. So I'm interested to see what comes about in this video. All right, so if you're new, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, join the family, and hit that like button for more content. Let's check it out.
Oh, Canada. There's a lot to love about this huge country, from its majestic landscapes to its multicultural population. Its unique combination of beauty and odd history makes it one of the most special countries in the world. But every place has a dark side, right?
The Screaming Tunnel was built in the 1900s. It's an underpass.
Canada is no exception. From natural to supernatural, sea to sky, east, west, north, and south, 15 unsettling discoveries in Canada nobody can explain. Number 15. The Devil's Hole.
Whoa.
The Discovery Islands are a group of islands located at the northern end of the Salish Sea and the eastern end of the Johnstone Strait between Vancouver Island and the mainland coast of British Columbia. The waters around the Discovery Islands have always been a highway linking people on the coast, but some of the local tidal rapids are the most powerful in the northern hemisphere and have taken many lives and many vessels. Tidal rapids are a natural occurrence where a fast-moving tide passes through a narrow passage, creating waves, eddies, hazardous currents, and as you can see, whirlpools like this one. The Devil's Hole. When two or more currents flowing in different directions meet, their waters begin to swirl around each other. If they're strong enough, they may begin to spiral downward. This forms a vortex. That's the empty space in the center of a whirlpool. It has the power to pull objects into it. Most whirlpools aren't cause for concern. However, those that are very large or powerful can pose a serious threat to anyone who comes too close. These very strong whirlpools are called maelstroms. Despite the danger, whirlpools are a fascinating natural phenomenon. Now, let's get ready for today's open discussion. In the fourth installment of the iconic Alien movie franchise, Alien Resurrection, we learned that the fictional xenomorph creatures that terrorize the crew in every movie can actually swim. But who knew they were from Canada? Isn't the water too cold up north? We're kidding, of course, but there might be a reason to believe these swimming aliens like it there. In fact, the Canadian government has actually recently released 20 years of reports describing Canada's so-called alien activity. The 500-plus reports spanning nearly 300 pages contain dozens of strange sightings, from commercial pilots, soldiers, to police officers. Could this be the strangest of them all? Are divers seeing aliens as they swim? And would this make you never want to swim in Canada ever again?
Absolutely.
Comment below with your thoughts and use the hashtag open discussion. You want to know a little secret? If you smash the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell, you'll have superpowers for the rest of your life. So what are you waiting for? Time to fly. Number 14. World War II bomber. Housed in what's now the Pacific Rim National Park, this World War II bomber still sits exactly where it crashed years ago. Those willing to brave the trail can discover the wreck for themselves at the end of a slightly treacherous and absolutely stunning hour-long jaunt.
Now, some people may be mad that they left it there, but I actually like the fact that they left it there. And now I've created something similar to like a museum. It just seems that much more, I don't know, like real to me. Like, I like that they did that, bro. I would definitely travel up there to visit that.
But it's worth it. One night in 1945, over the west coast of Canada, a Canso bomber plane was flying with a crew of 12 on board. Heading out in the dark at 11 p.m., the plane malfunctioned and lost power. The bomber was falling hundreds of feet per minute when it hit the trees and crashed. The quick thinking of the pilot who stalled the plane to slow its descent was the reason that all 12 crew members survived the crash. 11 hours after the crash, the entire crew was rescued. And there, the destroyed plane remains. The site itself is a free-for-all. take photographs, climb aboard, or have a picnic. Anything one might risk doing atop a remote, secluded heap of torn metal edges is fair game. To reach the site of the crash, park at Radar Hill and walk to the 15th telephone pole heading away from Tofino. At about 10 minutes in, you'll come across an abandoned building that's also well worth exploring. The rest of the hike is filled with exotic flora, fauna, and tons of mud. Number 13.
Yeah, see, that connects me to the history of what actually happened. You know what I mean? You go there and you experience that, and then you think in your mind, you try to play it out or visualize it in your mind. That, yeah, I like stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Post office links. Every once in a blue moon, a rare and fascinating creature will depart from its wild environment and engage with humans in a strange and entertaining way. And one Canadian caught a rare video of a wild lynx at her local Terrace Bay, Ontario post office. The lynx is a medium-sized species of wild cat. These huge kittens are also indigenous to parts of Canada and Alaska, among other places farther away, and are typically not approachable creatures. Like any wild animals who aren't domesticated, they can be dangerous. But this particular cat is apparently indifferent to the whims of humans because this cat's very clearly annoyed to have been bothered. His reaction? Not today, lady. It's quite a distinctive wild cat. Their legs are short and powerful, and their feet are large and round to help them travel over deep snow. They're also padded underneath, and so they're well adapted for hunting in severe winter conditions. Not as swift or powerful a runner as some of their feline relatives, they find prey by sight and sound. They hunt by stalking and ambushing or jumping their prey rather than chasing them down. They generally feed on small prey such as hares, rabbits, birds, and foxes, and switch to larger prey only when food becomes scarce. Number 12. Alien activity. Recently, spectators at the Nat Bailey Stadium in Vancouver were stunned to spot what appeared to be a UFO in the sky. The blue object, adorned with the requisite flashing lights, appeared during the first game of the best-of-3 North Division final between the Vancouver Canadians and Everett Aquasox. Once the audience noticed, many people posted pictures and videos of the mysterious object alongside exclamations of concern and astonishment. Does Canada have alien activity to worry about?
Look what we do. We automatically do what? We pull out our phone. Instead of trying to move, find some type of cover or something just in case it fire at us or something, we all grab our phones. Don't get mad. I'd have did the same thing, bro. I'd have probably did the same thing without thinking first because you want somebody to believe what you're seeing. So I get it, but we got to stop that.
It looks like it. Turns out, not in this case. The UFO was in fact a drone flown by the Canadian Planetarium to deliberately fool spectators. The convincing UFO is actually a drone designed to resemble the shape of the local space center and was repeatedly sighted around Vancouver. The recent sightings at this stadium are what made it go viral. But it makes us wonder, how many UFO sightings are actually drones? According to paranormal experts, far more than you may think. The increased use of unmanned drones by government and private groups is responsible for all sorts of strange sightings around the world. The thing about drones is that you can make them look like UFOs. Number 11. White grizzly. With less than 55,000 grizzly bears left in the wild across North America, the sighting of even one is a cause for celebration. Hence, you can only imagine how exciting it was when some Canadians spotted 2 young grizzlies, one with rarely seen all-white fur, foraging alongside the Trans-Canada Highway in the Rocky Mountains. The bear seemed to have ended up by the side of the road as they searched for food and climbed over a fence meant to keep them away from the highways. And other motorists have encountered the white bear, now called Nakota, which means friend or ally in the native language of the area's 3 Aboriginal tribes. Though there are a few variations of white bears to be found, such as the Kermode bear in British Columbia and the polar bears in the Arctic, white grizzly bears are extremely rare. While early speculation suggested Nakota could be an albino bear, which would also be pretty uncommon, the bear would have also had different color eyes and skin if this were the case. Instead, the bear's unique hairdo is the result of a recessive gene in the species that's nearly never seen in a wild bear. The park officials hope that once the bears exhaust their search for food around there, they'll just blend back into the wilderness. Number 10. Thalassophobia in Newfoundland. Newfoundland and Labrador on Canada's east coast are one of the most spectacular whale-watching places on Earth. The world's largest population of humpback whales return each year to feed on capelin, krill, and squid along the coast. Another 21 species of whales and dolphins visit along with them, including sperm, pothead, blue, and orca. But as exciting as—
Y'all seen the articles floating around about the orcas lately? Talking about they've taught themselves how to sink boats? Like, I don't know if I was half asleep or what, but please tell me I ain't the only one that's seen that article, man. That has my mind blown right now.
This it's not for everyone. A close encounter can be kind of scary. Thalassophobia is a type of specific phobia that involves a persistent and intense fear of deep bodies of water, such as the ocean or sea. What makes this phobia different than aquaphobia, the fear of water, where aquaphobia involves a fear of water itself? Thalassophobia centers on bodies of water that seem vast, dark, deep, and dangerous. People are not afraid of the water so much as they're afraid of what lurks beneath its surface, like these beautiful whales. Some of these folks' reactions are excitement, others not so much. Between May and September, you can see these big beauties feed, frolic, and even breach near shores. Catching a single glimpse of these majestic animals is an exciting and awesome experience, whether it's from the deck of a tour boat, the side of your sea kayak, or a seaside trail. Number 9. Face in the rocks. Was it created by man or by Mother Nature? That's what many are wondering about a giant face that appears to be carved into a cliff on a remote island near Vancouver Island. A Washington State kayaker stumbled upon the face back in 2008 while paddling past Reeks Island in the Broken Group Islands. When the kayakers stumbled upon the carving, they took pictures and sent them to Parks Canada, but weren't able to pinpoint the precise location. The park authorities knew the island was as traditional as the First Nation territory, so they contacted the local administration office, and now they're trying to solve the mystery of how it got there. Did someone carve it? And if so, when? Or is it a natural rock formation that only looks like a face?
Pareidolia.
To answer those questions would require a closer look, but its location is surrounded by a rugged shoreline and rough waters that so far have prevented close examination. Mother Nature is capable of creating all sorts of amazing things, though the face is very striking. But they still can't definitively say if the face is man-made or not. So for now, the mystery remains, which is okay with Parks Canada. The mystery is what makes the face so fascinating. Number 8.
Yeah, that kind of looked like pareidolia to me.
Dead toe cocktail. This strange cocktail is practically a rite of passage for visitors to Dawson City, Yukon in northern Canada.
What?
It's a simple drink, a shot of whiskey with an unusual accompaniment, a mummified human toe, and it's called sour toe cocktail. How did this unorthodox beverage come to be? It all started during Prohibition with a nasty case of frostbite. In the 1920s, the rum-running Lincoln brothers, Louis and Otto, got caught in a blizzard. Louis put his foot through a patch of ice and soaked his foot. When the brothers got back to their cabin, Louis's right foot was frozen solid. To prevent gangrene, Otto used his axe to chop off Louis's toe. He placed the toe in a jar of alcohol to commemorate the event. In 1973, legend has it that the Captain Dick Stevenson found the jar and the toe in a remote cabin. He came up with the idea of the Sour Toe Cocktail Club, an exclusive club with one membership requirement. In order to gain admittance to it, potential members must drink the legendary cocktail. There's just one rule. You can drink it fast, you can drink it slow, but your lips must touch that gnarly toe. In June 2017, the toe was stolen and later returned via mail to the owner. The rules have changed in the past 27 years. The sour toe can pair with any drink, but the rule remains the same. Numbers.
Excuse me. I gotta get it out. Would y'all do this? It'd probably take me a few drinks to be like, cause I'm that type of person. You're not gonna just be like, oh, you ain't gonna do it, bro. Like, a battery can probably be put in my back to do it. You know what I mean? I think I still suffer from that childhood competitive spirit. Don't let nobody outdo you. So, sitting here looking at it though right now, totally no. But you get me to the bar, I have a few in me, that testosterone kick in, all that type of stuff right there, and it might go down. It probably will go down. More than likely, yeah, it'll happen. But sitting back right here, right now, I can barely even stomach watching it. No.
7. UFO landing pad. In St. Paul, Alberta, in the Canadian prairies, a proposal was made to build the world's first UFO landing pad as a landmark for the town in 1967. The government of Canada said okay. Built as a part of the Canadian Centennial celebration, this town has an official UFO landing welcome site. Weighing just over 130 tons, the large flat concrete structure contains a time capsule to be opened on the 100-year anniversary of the pad's opening in 2067. A large map of Canada made from stones from each of the provinces adorns the rear of the pad. In the 1990s, the site officially opened an adjacent UFO tourist information center to welcome visitors. As you enter St. Paul from the west, drop in to visit this landmark and see the UFO exhibit downstairs. This is an opportunity to view actual photographs of UFOs in crop circles. The exhibit is designed to educate. A sign next to the pad reads as follows: the area under the world's first UFO landing pad was designated international by the town of St. Paul as a symbol of our faith that mankind will maintain the outer universe free from national wars and strife. That future travel in space will be safe for all intergalactic beings. All visitors from Earth or otherwise are welcome to this territory and to the town of St. Paul.
No one can ever call me crazy again about UFO talk. No one. Canada has a whole landing pad, welcoming landing pad. All right, I don't want to hear nobody else criticize me.
6. The Frank Slide. The town of Frank in Alberta, Canada, was a small 600-person mining town. That is, of course, until a mountain fell on it. In the middle of the night on April 29, 1903, a 3,280-foot wide, 1,400-foot high, and 500-foot deep slab of rock separated from a mountain and crashed down onto the town. The bustling coal mining town was founded just 2 years earlier and was located at the base of Turtle Mountain. In less than 100 seconds, the rock slide obliterated the eastern section of the town, killing close to 100 people. While the landslide was a great surprise to the townspeople, it was apparently not such a surprise to the local native tribe who stayed away from the mountain and called it the mountain that walks. Though the mountain was unstable to begin with, coal mining only added to the problem leading to the landslide. It was the greatest landslide in North American history and moved some 30 million cubic meters of limestone 2,300 feet down onto the town. The whole thing took roughly a minute and 40 seconds. It weighed an estimated 90 tons, so no attempt was made to recover the bodies. Immediately after the landslide, Frank became something of a sensation and tourist destination. Number 5. The Screaming Tunnel. Located in the northwest corner of Niagara Falls, Ontario, a legend says that if you stand in the center of this tunnel running underneath what once was the Grand Trunk railway lines and light a match, the match will go out. You'll then hear the screams of a dying girl. Every Niagara region local knows the legend of this tunnel. It's the stuff of fictional horror movies. The legend begins with a young girl that met an unfortunate fate. There are a few versions of the story, but each one agrees that she lived in a farmhouse on the south side of the tunnel. One night, her house caught fire, and she fled the building with her clothes ablaze. She reached the tunnel before she fell to the ground, and that's where she perished. Other tales say that she was set on fire deliberately by a raging father, burnt in the tunnel to hide evidence. It's a brutal legend behind the now famous name. And now it's one of the top haunted roads in the world. It's made of rough cut stone and measures 16 feet high by 125 feet long. This is an imposing dark structure, and at night it transforms into a black portal that would create anxiety on any who disappear into the darkness. This small limestone tunnel runs under the railway tracks that link Niagara Falls to Toronto and New York City. Number 4. The Smoking Hills. On the east coast of Cape Bathurst in Canada's Northwest Territories, next to the Arctic Ocean and a small group of lakes, these cliffs were named by explorer John Franklin, who was the first European to see them. They contain oil shales, which have been burning continuously for centuries. The first recorded sighting of them was in the early 1800s by an explorer while trawling the Canadian Arctic. When he saw the smoke, he ordered his crew to investigate in case it was a signal from the lost explorer. But when they reached the hills, there was no sign of life. It was reported that the crew took a piece of smoldering rock back to the captain and that it burned a hole right through his wooden desk. The crew was convinced that volcanic activity was causing the hills to burn. However, it soon became apparent that there was a different reason altogether for the strange phenomenon. The fires result from the auto-ignition of sulfur-rich deposits. The clouds of smoke have given the region its name, and although the soil of the region contains much limestone, the buffer effect has completely disappeared, and they might be burning away, sending plumes of gas across the landscape. And now it's a multicolored, fiery wonder. Number 3. The lights are on, but no one is home. This town's lights are always on. The streets are lined with neatly trimmed trees and there are freshly mowed lawns, yet no one has called Kitsalt home since 1982. If you think of a ghost town, most people probably imagine ruins. Roofless houses, dirty broken windows, rotting floors. But this place on the north coast of British Columbia, Canada, you'll find rows upon rows of immaculately kept houses, shopping centers, restaurants, banks, pubs, and theaters, all abandoned and sitting empty, but untouched and spotless. The town, near the Alaskan border, had a brief existence. It began in 1979 as a community of workers of the mines nearby, mined for precious and semi-precious metals such as silver, lead, zinc, and copper for nearly a century, leading to the establishment of many boomtowns, such as this. But just as life was getting started in this pristine mountain utopia, the market crashed and the entire town of some 1,200 residents abandoned it. About a total of $50 million in 1980 was spent on the town, and it had been estimated it would cost about $250 million to replace it today. After the town was abandoned by its inhabitants, Kitsalt became the town that time forgot. Number 2.
See now, if something like that existed here in the US, I would automatically assume there's some tunnels going on up under them places. They running drugs or something up under there. They doing something. It just wouldn't, it wouldn't make sense to me otherwise. Something had to be going on. I don't know about Canada, but here, that would be very, very odd, strange, weird. It would be, and I would think, yeah, they doing something. Or either the government's involved. This is the new, what is it? What's the place? Area 51. This would be the new Area 51 or something, some place like that. It would have some kind of something like that attached to it. Yeah. I would be afraid to go to that type of spot. Yeah. You just couldn't tell me they wasn't doing nothing crazy there.
2. Melting ice reveals ancient bacteria. Climate change is causing cratered permafrost in Fort McPherson in Canada's Northwest Territories. Warming temperatures are melting previously frozen layers and exposing organisms that produce carbon dioxide into the air. Scientists say that frozen organisms in that surface are now being exposed to the air, producing carbon dioxide and contributing to the greenhouse effect. In recent years, warming in the Arctic has outpaced projections so rapidly that scientists are now suggesting that the poles are warming 4 times faster than the rest of the globe. This has led to glacier melt and permafrost thaw levels that weren't forecast to happen until 2050 or later. In northern Canada, this abrupt thaw has created sunken landforms, known as thermokarst, where the oldest and deepest permafrost is exposed to the warm air for the first time in hundreds or even thousands of years. So certainly there is the potential there for this carbon, if it's released as carbon dioxide, to have a really huge effect on greenhouse gases and climate warming. And that's why there has been a growing fear about a possible consequence of climate change: zombie pathogens, specifically bacteria and viruses, preserved for centuries in frozen ground. coming back to life as the Arctic's permafrost starts to thaw. Number 1. Monster in the Lake. In Canadian folklore, the Ogopogo is a lake monster said to inhabit Okanagan Lake in British Columbia.
What?
Some scholars have charted the entity's development from First Nations folklore and widespread water monster folklore motifs. The West Bank First Nation describes this fierce lake monster as having a snake-like body over 50 feet long. Some say it looks like a horse, others say it looks like it's reptilian or goat-like. And today, the famous monster in the lake now plays a role in the commercial symbolism and media representation of the region. This 8-foot-tall, 14-foot-long sea monster statue resides at the bottom of the lake. It's a life-size homage to the legendary Ogopogo. The statue of the legend resides 30 feet beneath the surface at Paul's Tomb, to the left of the bay in Knox Mountain Park. It was installed in the early 1990s with a team and the artist who designed it. The artist's rendition of Ogopogo resembles the snake-like description. They got together a team of divers, towed it across the lake, slowly sank it, and then anchored it to the bottom of the lake. One of their biggest concerns was boats putting anchors down and catching him, and that hasn't happened yet. It certainly has become a popular place to dive and explore. See, Canada is a pretty fascinating place, despite these unsettling discoveries. But don't let it stop you from checking it out for yourselves. It's a big country with so much more to explore, and there are more videos on the way as well. So stick around.
Yeah, that welcome landing pad is super. I like, if I ever go, I gotta go there. But that toe drink, like I said, sitting here right now. But I know if it was a group of us in a bar and they presented that or had it on the wall, like a sign on the wall detailing what it was, once I read it, I'm telling you, man, it's just something in you. Testosterone, I don't know what it is, man, but yeah, it'll definitely get done. If I was there, it'll definitely get done. But here, sitting here, nah, that look crazy. That looks crazy, man. If any of y'all got a bar, there's an idea, man. Something that may bring people in. You can run that special forever, and people will come from miles to try it. You know what I'm saying? Now, where you gonna get the toe from? I don't know. That's insane to even think about. But y'all get at me in the comment section, man, and let me know what y'all thought about these unexplained, unsettling discoveries from Canada, man. It's crazy. It's your boy, y'all stick around and stay tuned, man. Until next one, I'm gone. Peace.